Good morning. For those who don't know me, I'm Tony Davenport, and I am sitting in my car stationary. You can see, not moving. I am outside my first client's house. I'm here 20 minutes early. So while he's getting ready to come downstairs to his workout room or therapy room, I wanted to make this video to share some of my thoughts excuse me, about um, how I've been thankful, why I'm thankful during these times, because I haven't lost, I maybe lost 10%, 20% of my income um, from my medical massage practice. Um, I'm still working because of the therapies that I'm doing for people as a massage therapist. It's important because by now, I just heard on the radio, 20-year massage therapist, Cobb County. She's concerned. Obviously, she can't do work. Um, and I'm I'm looking at the rest of the industry, like the whole industry, um, definitely nationwide, possibly worldwide, is at a standstill for massage. And there was two massage therapists, one in Alaska and one in California, who on my LinkedIn and Instagram pages came to me and asked about some of the things I was doing and how I was still working, because I'm posting videos still of me working on clients. It's like, what am I doing and how is it that I'm able to work? Some of my high school friends are like, hey, what are you doing, man? It's like, you got to understand where I'm at and how I'm able to do this. So without further ado, here's kind of a rundown. I'm gonna share some equipment that I used. I'm gonna share the equipment I use. I'm gonna share the research that supports a lot of this, and we're just gonna have a dialogue. I'm gonna open it up for people to ask questions. Maybe even come to my office, see the stuff in action, experience it for themselves, so they can understand where this is coming from, and how to think about how to integrate this stuff into their own practice. So first and foremost, um, back in 2010, I discovered this product called Cell Food, and some of you may know it, some may not. But long story short, is the biochemist that invented the original formula of Cell Food had developed one of the cancers, and he went through chemo. And following that, he asked his doctor, "Okay, now what's the next stage to get all these toxins out of my body?" And the doctor said, "We don't have anything for that. Go, here's some meds, go exercise, be moderate, go live your life." He wasn't satisfied with that, so he went to went to work and created a formula that would help cleanse his body, help would purify his cells. And it's a bunch of trace minerals. It's like 70 plus trace minerals and per 1 drop per ounce of water that you use to treat it with. And cell food's fairly inexpensive. Um, I'm not a distributor for them. I'm not a rep, so I don't get commission if you go buy it. It's $30 in Goodness Grocery in Smyrna. If you go on Amazon, I think it's somewhere between 20 and $30. It depends. Then they have a bunch of different formulas. But basically, his writing in the book that comes with it says pathogens, bacteria, and viruses, cancers cannot thrive in an oxygen-rich environment. So it became stressed an importance on keeping your body in an alkaline state. So you got your pH waters for that. You got your nutrition components for that, and then you keep your body in this oxygenated state, and it makes it hard for viruses, pathogens, and cancers to grow and thrive. So that's kind of a basis of the foundation of kind of where I'm going. So we fast forward, I've continued to use Cell Food over these last 10 years. Um, and now through the therapy model, I've added a mechanical component to it. So when I went to Atlanta School of Massage, I was the lead activity-based therapy specialist, exercise specialist for neurologic patients. Um, as at Project Walk Atlanta, then it became Next Step Atlanta, which it is now. But in May of 2019, I left that business after 8.5, almost 9 years, and I opened my own office in the Marietta Square. A lot of it was my research involvement compelled me to go in a different direction that the business was going. So thus it's allowed me to grow outside of the restrictions of having to operate corporately, so to speak. So, kudos to my experiences at that my former employer. It did build a lot for me. It did give me something of an international kind of reputation, at least a presence with people in the neurologic industry in terms of spinal cord injury, stroke, and traumatic brain injury. So I did have that under my belt when I went to Atlanta School of Massage. But there's a common denominator here, and this is it. While there in 2015, 2016, my four of the instructors since from that time till now that I know of all had 10 plus years of experience in the massage field, but they didn't have a 4-year degree. And those four instructors have particularly not either left the school, stopped teaching, or went, changed their teaching pattern so that they could attain the 4-year degree, because they hit a professional point, as I understand it, that they saw a need to have the degree. So they had a license, but there is limits because they didn't have the degree. So I had the degrees, the bachelor's and the master's, and didn't have a license. And I hit a wall professionally, because people wouldn't train me stuff because, hey, you don't have a license, or this is normally for massage therapists, and well, with your credentials we'll let you in, but blah, it is interesting because I worked on spinal cord injury. I would get newsletters from chiropractic sources because people thought I was mistaken as a chiropractor. It's like, I'd have to turn them down. And when they offer trainings, I say, hey, I'm not a chiropractor, but can I do this training because I can use it with my population? It's like, yeah, we'll let you do it, but we can't let you take the certification, actual certificate. So if you hurt someone, it's on you. Well, I'm not going to pay you if I can't use the knowledge. I mean, if I can't actually be certified to do it. So what that came down to being is I went to massage school and I got my license, and then it opened doors to a lot of training. And so first and foremost, as a massage therapist, you got to think about what's your longevity, what's your 5-year, 10-year, 15, 20-year plan. I knew from the get-go, I figured out that while I was in school, doing massage therapy, even with proper body mechanics, can be something somewhat laborious. I was a personal trainer. I trained and taught boxing, professional boxing, martial arts, and massage therapy is more intensive than that. Now, granted, if I'm training for a fight, that's a different level of fitness. But just in general, if I'm standing there barking out exercises or demonstrating an exercise for someone to do in the personal training capacity, that's less laborious than doing a massage, clearly. So even with great body mechanics. So I said to myself, I'm already reaching my 40s at that point, and I'm like, I want to use this skill, but I better rethink what 60 looks like. So along the way, while I was in school, a gentleman had come to the health fair, Tommy Benefield, and he introduced the Avazia microcurrent device to me. A microcurrent is TENS, FDA approved, and that approval is a broad brush approval, but nonetheless it's an approval. So you have these neurophysiologist PhDs that looked at the Russian technology, the SCENAR, SCENAR, and the Russians created this device to interface with the nervous system to help repair tissue for the cosmonauts coming in the space program, coming back from space travel. Well, Dr. Jerry Tennant, a medical doctor, ophthalmologist in Texas, he created a company called BioModulator because he himself developed encephalitis and he lost his practice. And in his book, he talks to the tune, if I can heal a cell, I can heal a tissue, I can heal an organ system, I can heal the whole body, I can heal all the cells. So he used the bioelectric capacity of the human body's healing mechanism to do so. So he created BioModulator. And around the same time, if not before, Dr. Tim Smith, neurophysiologist, PhD, invented Avazia, and he's in Florida. I don't know where he was at the time he invented it, but he's based out of Florida now. And he himself, as I met him this past January for the first time, he tells us the story of how he actually met the Russian inventors of the SCENAR device, and he talked with them. and he got more insight as to how the device was, formulated and structured. So he came home, he created his device, and it sells internationally as well. So this guy, Tommy Benefield, was at the health fair at ASM, and he used it to, pain management. And there's accessories that you don't have to apply electrodes to no one. You can just rub one of the accessories, the Y bar or using the onboard electrode on the actual device to paint over an area on the body to reduce sympathetic nervous system activity, i.e. a trigger point or anything along those lines, and bioelectrically it'll unwind it, calm it right down. You don't have to. I'm not knocking the ischemic pressure and the trigger point protocols and people who are trigger point specialists. That's great, that's fine. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying that bioelectrically I can take my Avasia microcurrent device, find a trigger point, clear it in less than a minute or two, and move on to the next area or work deep tissue in that area if it calls for it. So using the microcurrent, that gave me a new adage to in my massage because we know that when we run our hand across a tissue, across a muscle, and the person, it wasn't radiating pain, so the person wasn't complaining of it, but then, oh, that hurts, I didn't know that was hurting. So that, okay, well, instead of them telling me, hey, that wasn't hurting before I laid down and now it's hurting, now I got to deal with this, and I've heard that from other massage colleagues, clients. So now I don't have to worry about that, because if I find a spot, I grab my microcurrent, my Avasia, I put it in relax mode, paint on the area, that knocks it out, move on to the next area, right? So I started understanding more of the research on the bioelectric healing mechanisms of the human body. But this is the type of stuff that the research is done, but it's not floating around in the mainstream, and it's definitely not talking about in commercials, and your medical doctor may or may not know about it. So they know stuff like it exists, but they don't know what's good and what's not. So because they don't spend time messing with it. I did. So working with the paralysis recovery industry, you have to use peer-reviewed evidence to support any protocol you're going to implement, because if you don't have a leg to stand on trying to tell someone with spinal injury that, hey, I'm going to use this on you and here's how it's going to help you, and they don't know how, and you don't have research to back it up, they don't have a vote of confidence in you. So that took me down to initially took me down the bioelectric healing journey pathway. Along the way in the spinal injury business, a company called Tissue Regenerative Technologies. They're located in Woodstock. They use shockwave, light energy, shockwave therapy we were postulating if the health benefits of improving tissue repair in the nervous system would be beneficial to our clients. So they came to the business, and we would use shockwave therapy on the clients to figure out, hey, what are your responses going to be? Is it going to be bowel and bladder function? Is it going to be more muscular function? Is it going to help nerves heal to improve overall function? What? So that meant we worked to figure it out, and we worked for a few years assessing it, and we came to a conclusion, and then it kind of died down because at least nobody walked. Nobody got the ultimate goal, but everyone got other secondary health benefits, like their bones, their respiratory health was better. They may have had better temperature regulation. They may have had better improved sensory. They may have had other autonomic functions improved, but not necessarily walking. So fast forward, after a while after I left Next Step, in May of 2019, I was talking with one of my client's moms, and we were postulating what our next steps for her sons were going to be. And we discussed the shockwave therapy. So I took them to TRT and I used the device on them, and we got some great results. First round, boom. 500 to 1,000 shocks in areas, and we saw a change quickly. Where there was a contracture or a frozen joint, it unlocked the joint, or it reduced the contracture. It did wonders. So I pulled up the musculoskeletal disorder and shockwave therapy information, and it's just abundant. So she said, okay, how do we get this and how do I have more access? So I found a shockwave device, acoustic shockwave device, and I bought it from China. It was a trustworthy source. I went through PayPal. I protected myself at every angle. The device was $4,500, and so I used Shockwave Therapy. Again, this is a device. I don't have to physically touch a person. The device comes with about 25 protocols on different conditions, musculoskeletal conditions. Some of them are other internal ones. Even as far as to say, you got trigger points, you got use with for cellulite, for skin tightening, for erectile dysfunction, for joints. I mean, it just has protocols. But then I have the ability to adjust it manually to change the energy and the frequency that I'm delivering to the person, so it can't harm anyone. So off the bat, my Avazia microcurrent, my shockwave device. Then we moved forward, and I got certified and trained in pulse electromagnetic field therapy, PEMF. So I did this training with pulse centers. They're the training centers in Peachtree Corners, and then the warehouse is in Cartersville. So they're made right here in state. Well, one of my clients has a $40,000 clinical suite in his living room. And so he pulled the trigger and get me in the owner circle to do the training, the 2-day training. And I got certified by these companies through using pulse electromagnetic field therapy. So my mission became acquiring the funds to purchase a device for my massage practice, because now the pulse electromagnetic field therapy has an abundant, over several thousand research articles substantiating its use and it effects on the human body. So I'm like, this is my retirement plan, because now I can lay a person down, reconfigure the accessories, not even touch you, pulse you. You're getting all the health benefits, pain management, musculoskeletal. I can exercise muscles passively. I can do brain treatments. I can treat stroke. I can treat traumatic brain injury. I can treat spasticity. I can treat just about anything. Well, not anything, but most things. So the sky's the limit kind of with this one. So acquiring 40 grand became the next mission. Obviously, you got to be making money to get that kind of loan. So right away, I didn't obviously have the means to acquire the money for it, but I kept working. And now I have a $25,000 suite of it in my office. So now instead of 40 grand, I spent 25 instead. I got the loan for that. And I have the key components that I need to operate with it. So pulse electromagnetic field therapy is another way I'm operating currently to help people deal with their ailments and recover with neurologic and whatnot. So I'm not touching the person. I'm cleaning the mat, I'm spraying the atmosphere, and making sure everything's wiped off with disinfectant wipes, and then they're laying on my mat and are sitting somewhere, and I'm moving the accessories around without actually touching them. So with the PEMF, I have several different strength devices. I have some at home that my wife and I use, and I have 3 or 4 more portable ones that I can carry with me when I'm mobile. So I have my ScanR device, I have my Avazia device, I have the PEMF, have my Shockwave, and then I have my singlet oxygen, Valkion singlet oxygen. The Valkion singlet oxygen device is from Sweden. My rep is in the United Kingdom. I bought it from him, and $3,100 shipped. Singlet oxygen takes a oxygen molecule, O2, splits it into a single oxygen molecule, O1. You breathe it in, and O1 causes oxidative stress to bacteria, viruses, and pathogens. So, respiratory health. I just pulled up a study on respiratory health using PEMF, and I have one here for singlet oxygen. And singlet oxygen is already proven. Let me pull this. The name of this study is Singlet Oxygen, a New Weapon Against Viruses. This is I'm trying to look for the year, 2011 study. And it's in Hemostasis Laboratory Journal. And it talks about This was Department of Clinical Chemistry University in Marburg, Germany. Single oxygen generation might be a part of the effectiveness in usual drugs against AIDS, and causes oxidative destruction to the thrombin transporter of the macroglobulin of cells of viral cells. So like this powerful therapy, this is the envelope virus that it's talking about as well. So we talk about viruses, we got to know whether they're enveloped or non-enveloped. So if it's enveloped, it's more protected against external environments. So it still breaks through an envelope virus. So singlet oxygen, shockwave, Avasia microcurrent, pulse electromagnetic field therapy, all these things that I'm using, this technology that I'm using, boost immunity. I'm not saying it kills corona because corona wasn't around when these other research articles was written. I'm saying that I'm boosting your immunity. I'm saying that I'm giving you a line of defense against the virus, because you still got to go out of the house. You still got to go to the grocery store. You still got to go to the gas station. I'm out. I can poke holes in people's logic. A lady today gave me my Dunkin' Donuts coffee on a tray. Somebody still had to touch the cup. Somebody had to touch the straw. I had to touch the straw. Had to, put the cup in my cup holder. Right? So, yeah, you're practicing, trying to do it, but it's good, but there's still holes in the logic. So I'm giving you a line of defense. I'm giving you something that I'm giving my clients something that boosts their immunity, that protects them against some of these inherent problems that the virus can cause. Another article I just looked up was pulse electromagnetic field therapy's effect on respiratory health. Now, I have one client who has asthma. I improved his breathing. Another one came in and told me he was diagnosed with emphysema last week. He left out of there breathing easier. Now, the singlet oxygen molecules inside the lungs, whereas the virus attacking inside the lungs, again, the singlet oxygen will punch through an envelope virus. That means even if corona is enveloped, the singlet oxygen molecule will cause oxidative stress to the cell wall, the cell membrane, which then allows its organelles to leak out. It dies. So I'm theorizing or hypothesizing that I improve your immunity and suppress the chances of the virus, of any virus for that matter, because I'm singlet oxygen. I'm using the effects of pulsatile electromagnetic field therapy from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease and bronchial asthma. This is a 2002 study, PubMed.gov, National Library of Medicine in the NIH. So basically, all the breathing indexes improved in the person and their measurements, and improved the effectiveness of all the lung functional tests. I'm just kind of grabbing the hot points off of the abstract without reading you all the technical data. So again, if you Google PEMF and PEMF and respiratory health, PEMF improves it. So my high intensity PEMF device, I can pulse your lungs directly, and again, the oxygen is going to help suppress viral pathogenic activity. I'm going to say pathogenic activity. The PEMF is going to improve lung function, break up excessive mucus collection, and if it can help with COPD. There's a guy, my wife's a nurse. There's a guy that came into her office. They misdiagnosed him with the virus because he had CPOD. He had a fever from an infection, an air infection, but he had COPD. So they call it corona. No, they had to clear him, which they did. But initially it was oh no, the guy got corona, get him over there. No, he has COPD. They looked at his record. So if the PEMF helps improve COPD, bronchial asthma, emphysema, it can also improve lung function against something like that in combination with my breathing. So when you come to my office, you're getting the breathing done while you're getting pulsed. And then I can run the microcurrent on you. Now, using a microcurrent, I can also stimulate the vagus nerve, which runs under, the nerve runs off the brain and runs under your SCM muscle down and branches off on both sides bilaterally. And the vagus nerve runs to it's cranial nerve number 10. It runs to every organ in the body, and it tells the brain what's going on with each organ. So now what? I can stimulate that nerve to help it upregulate its function to improve immunity. Also, I mean, that's part of it. Immunity is part of it. So you're getting benefits. So this is how I'm operating without loss of business. The people who've chosen to stay in place, which I respect 100%, that's fine. It opened doors for other people who wanted the time slots. That I can't say I have a waiting list, but when I told people, hey, I got this slot available, you want it? Like, yeah, okay, come on. So I'm saying that my use in electromedicine, my dive into it, took me to a place that I said, if I got hurt, this was before the virus, I had my singular oxygen device last year. Everything I have, the only new thing I got was the bigger PMF device, the clinical one, but everything else I've had for the last 3 years. But I said to myself, if I got hurt as a massage therapist and I needed to make sure I had some level of job security, that I could tell someone, instruct someone on what to do, what setting to set on the device, that I could do that without being able to physically use my body if I had to while I was healing. Nikola Tesla, he healed himself from a car hit him. He got home. He said the story says he crawled home, got to his room, and he used his electrical devices to heal himself. He did not go to the hospital, and then he reemerged, healed, healed fractures and contusions and stuff. So I have one of his works here too that I'm about to go in and use on my client. So I have PMF I'm gonna use on my client's brain, hemorrhagic stroke survivor. So again, I'm putting this out here because I care. I was wondering if I should put this out just to say, hey, look, I'm a massage therapist, but here's how else I'm operating. Yes, I do have a master's and a bachelor's. Yes, I am doing my doctorate in natural medicine. It is with Quantum University. I have probably another year and I'll be done. If you want to have that discussion about Quantum University, that's given me 2 more skills to use already, and I'm only done with the 5th class. I'm using neuro-linguistic programming, and I'm using brain tapping. They go hand in hand, but I'm reprogramming brain chemistry with psychological aspects, and I have a certificate for it from the school. So it's part of my doctorate. And anyone, the whole doctorate's only 26 grand. It walks you from a bachelor's to a master's to the doctorate. So I'm gonna have a second bachelor's, I'm gonna have a second master's, and then I'll have my first doctorate. So I'm here. I'm here. I'm available. If you want to have the discussion, let's have it. If you want to come to my office, see this stuff in action, experience it. Obviously, we have the time. I have some time on the weekends where I'm not as busy. Nor my clients during the week do have time slots well, but I'm not as busy during the weekends, and because I was 7 days a week before all of this went down. So now I just kind of opened most of my Saturdays and Sundays up, but my Monday through Fridays is slammed. So there you go. I can see 2 people who take up the most of my time throughout the week, each week, and my monthly expenses are all covered. My car note, my rent, my home rent, my office rent, and the payment for the $25,000 loan on the equipment. So I'm telling you, I'm making a good chunk of change still, and I'm not massaging people. So not in that capacity, at least. If I had to, I do have gloves that I can work on an area, a joint or something on a person, just to help manually manipulate it, and then that's it. But there are no full body work happening. So all that said, I was watching the time because I had to keep this under 30 minutes. I just wanted to share that. I hope it's helpful. If it is, great. If it isn't, I feel better that I've made this video because I wanted to share. It's been eating at me a little bit. I want people to know. And if you're a massage therapist and you're in this mode and you're heavily affected by it, I'm here to bounce ideas off of as best you can. I'm not great. I'm not nothing special. I just know that I needed to create security that's you couldn't take it away from me. That I'd have to stop. That nobody can take it from me. So I build and I create, and it's mine. So no one can take it from me. So there's that. Have a good day.